Hey folks, it's Bill Swift from Swift Canoe, and I've just come off the trail, and what a beautiful day for solo paddling. And how about we tell you all about our beautiful Swift solo canoes? Let's do a quick overview of the Swift solo canoes. So we have the Kiwadins, the Kiwadin 14, the Kiwadin 15. They're our touring boats. They're asymmetrical. The widest point is behind the stern. They're straighter keeled in the back end. They have a little bit more rocker forward. Beautiful touring boats for people to use in the traditional manner with a single blade paddle. Then we've got our super popular Prospector 14. And we're going to show you a few different configurations that we build it in. It's by far our most popular solo canoe. It's the do-everything boat, camping, fishing, recreational day paddling. It's an absolute gem of a boat. We also have a boat on the bottom here. This is actually a Kiwadin 16 Combi. And what we've done is we've taken the bow and stern seats out with our new quick change seating system. We're just going to go over this boat with you. Then we have 3 solo canoes in our performance canoe category. The Cruiser 14.8, 15.8, and 16.8. Separate video that you can check out, performance solo canoes. And we have a brand new boat coming out this year. It's actually the legendary Wildfire, a 14-foot boat that David Yost has designed that's been made by several companies. We've retooled it with our resin infusion method. Super cool boat. Expect to see it in shops this spring. Let's go over this beauty in detail. This is a Prospector 14 in Kevlar fusion. And it's got our beautiful new stone blue gel coat on the outside with the color match skid plates. We're doing solid gel coat colors on all our solo canoes this year. A red, forest green, champagne, the stone blue, moss green. This baby has our carbon Kevlar trim in the black and gold, which comes standard with the carbon end caps. And this one has the all cherry interior that we put in with stainless steel bolts. Absolute beautiful boat. The finishing, the smoothness of all these guys, you just want to caress them whenever you can. Both the carbon Kevlar trim and the smoothness of all the wood parts, most of which, except the seats, we build in our own wood shop. Now, this particular boat also has the adjustable carbon foot bar, which is an option that we'll talk about in a bit. This one has the cherry detachable yoke, which is a pin system right in the middle of the boat to attach it. It's the last thing we install on the boat when we make it. We balance the boat specifically at this spot to make sure we've got the balance point. One of the big features of all Swift solo canoes are these beautiful cherry seats that we do. They're very wide frame. Note how far out we bring the webbing on this. They're curved in the front of them. They've got a nice curve in the back, so there's ample room for us that have larger derrieres. This particular one is with a multi-height pod system, which is an option. And very easily, I can clip this up. I can move it from the upper position to the lower position. This is a popular option for people that want more stability, people that also want to use a kayak paddle and go fishing where they keep their center of gravity very low in the boat. And again, I'll just show you. Watch how quickly, guys. I can just pop this out and move this up to the upper position. Prospector 14, it's a symmetrical canoe. Both ends have the same shape to it. David Yost designed this. He came to us with this idea, and it's been an absolute home run. he really put quite a bit of tumble home on it, quite a bit more than he does on his other solos. And the reason is he wanted to make it that when people paddled the boat, they didn't have to reach quite as far over the side. Check this beautiful Prospector 14 out. This is in our Expedition Kevlar laminate, and it's got the beautiful basalt and negra finish on the outside. It's a $200 option. Absolutely beautiful, this boat. Now, on all of the Expedition Kevlars, we're doing black carbon interior skid plates on them. And then many people who really want to use their boats hard will also order the optional colored skid plates that we color them black to the same color as the internal skid plate for even more protection. This baby has a beautiful, clear basalt and negra cloth on the inside also. And note how it has a little bit of a flatter finish to it. The outer finish is a little bit shinier. This matches the inside of our infusion system, so it's not quite as bright looking. This one has the beautiful black and gold carbon Kevlar trim that's super smooth. We build a nice outer lip in it to deflect the splash and spray away from the boat. It's got the carbon end caps. We drill holes in the end so when you turn it over on the shore, the water will drain out. This one's got our new sassafras handles and thwarts on it, which is an option. It's going to save you about a pound or so in weight, and it's a wood that has a super cool grain to it. It's an option on our solo canoes for this year. This boat also has a sassafras yoke on it. And if you get the sassafras interior, the seat is going to be cherry, and it's our beautiful seat that's got 11 to 12 plies in it that are all glued together. We angle the front bar forward nicely. Beautiful frame to sit on. Now this one also has what's called the universal mount package, where we put 3 attachment points on the bow thwart, and we put 2 on the thwart right behind the seat. Really good for people that like to put fishing equipment, GoPros, camera mounts. Super cool system, very popular with folks. This one also has the adjustable carbon foot bar. We'll go in more detail later. And this baby has what's called the diamond interior gel coat, which is a super hard interior finish we put on post-production. It makes the boat really easy to clean. It's popular with people that like to fish, that typically have a fish flopping around in their boat. People that do really muddy portages that are just bringing a lot of dirt in it, perhaps sand in the boat. Super easy to clean it out afterwards. It's an option that we have on all solos now. So an Expedition Kevlar Prospector 14, this is a super cool earth tone look that I love. Check out this beautiful Prospector 14. This is our lightweight carbon fusion laminate. It's got the beautiful carbon Negra H-weave on the outside. It's also got carbon Negra H-weave on the inside. It's got multiple layers and pieces inside the laminate as well. Now this particular one is last year's model. The new ones this year are going to have the black internal skid plates, which gives you extra protection in the end of the boat. And then you can, as the last Prospector 14, many people that get this boat also order the black skid plates. Kevlar felt, epoxy resin, adds an extra level of toughness for people that really like to use their boat hard. Now this baby has the black and gold carbon Kevlar trim on it. You can also order it with an all black trim. And this guy's got the carbon tech package inside the boat. So carbon end caps, it's got the carbon handles, the carbon thwarts. And what's super cool about this, we build all these parts internally in our factory. These parts are hollow and they're super strong. They're made much like a monocube bicycle with a two-piece aluminum mold that comes together, and we infuse the resin all through. Super cool technology. This baby also has the adjustable carbon foot bar. It's got the universal mount package on the thwart, so it's got, again, the 3 mounts in the front, the 2 in the back. This one also has the carbon detachable yoke, which is a $700 option. Super cool, super lightweight. This baby only weighs 1.5 pounds. You can also get it with a sassafras detachable yoke, also 1.5 pounds in weight, $300 option. Or you can get it with a cherry detachable yoke, a $200 option, and the cherry one weighs about 2.5 pounds. Now check this out, guys. This is super cool. When we do the Carbon Tech package canoes, the pods on the side we build all in the carbon, and this one has the optional multi-height pods in it. Again, very easy to take the seat out to adjust it. Here's a feature that some people like. All the detachable parts you want to take out when you're moving the boat. So when you load this on and off your car, it's even lighter. This baby's so light. Without this stuff on it, very easy to get on and off. And then again, this quickly, I can get the seat back on the boat again. So what I like to do is put the front pins in first, lift the back up a little bit, and the magnets will pull it tightly back down. This has the same shape as our wood seat. The carbon seat has the beautiful angle to the front so it doesn't dig into the back of your thighs when you're kneeling. It's got a super wide frame to it, so it gives you lots of room to move over to the side if you want to. It's got the nice curve to the back bar for our ample posteriors. A Carbon Fusion Prospector 14 Carbon Tech package. What a beauty. Let's talk about our Kiwadin 14 we got here. This is a demo we've had at our Algonquin store for a couple of years, so she's got some marks on them, but we love it when boats get marks on them. They get character marks as they age. Now this beautiful boat is an Expedition Kevlar with the Basalt Negra commingle on the inside. And this baby has the emerald green finish on the outside. Look how beautiful this finish is. This has the two-tone bottom on it with the color skid plates for extra protection. This year's Expedition Kevlars actually have a black internal skid plate on it before it's finished. So you'd have the black look coming right up to the gunnels. It's super cool looking. Now this baby has the black and gold carbon Kevlar trim on it with the beautiful cherry outers on it, which we've got a nice roundness to. They're super smooth. For those that love the look and feel of wood appointments, it gives you the look of the wood without the 8 to 10 pounds of weight that a full wood trim would add to this particular boat. They come with the carbon end caps on them. This one has the all cherry interior, cherry handles, cherry thwarts. And note how this boat's narrower than the Prospector 14, so we put a different seat in it, but we still bring the seat really wide. The Prospector 14 is a really good touring boat for average-sized people and smaller. It really paddles beautifully in the water. Paddles great for people that like to kneel, people that like to sit. This one in Expedition Kevlar is absolutely beautiful. Here is the Kiwadin 14's big brother. This is the Kiwadin 15, which really fits a person average size and bigger. I'm 6'4", 240 pounds. I love this canoe. It fits me great. People a little bit bigger than me can fit it. People smaller feel very comfortable in it as well. This particular one is, it's been a demo for a few years for us. It's got the black and gold Kevlar Fusion interior. It's got the beautiful ruby red finish on the outside with the two-tone champagne finish on the bottom, which is an option. And this guy has the really smooth black and gold carbon Kevlar trim with a nice outer lip to it. The black carbon end caps. This baby has the all cherry interior package, and it's got the universal mount package on the bow thwart and the stern thwart, a detachable cherry yoke on it, and this one's got some character marks on the inside from being used. The seat on it is really neat. Again, it's got the same curve to the front, very wide frame to it. All of our seats we put on with these side pods, which is connected to a ribbing structure in the canoe, and the ribbing structure butts up tightly to the core on the bottom, to the gunnel on the top. It provides a super rigid structure to it. Seats that are hung from the gunnels really tend to have sway and movement to them over time. This is a much more solid feeling when you paddle the boat. You feel the energy being transmitted the whole boat. There's no swivel or sway to it, and it lasts much, much longer. So a Kiwadin 15, ruby red, Kevlar fusion, another beauty. This baby, the Kiwadin 16 Combi, is not in the solo canoe section, but we wanted to show it to you, and we've got a great video, Swift Combi canoes. So the Prospector 15, the Kiwadin 16 are actually really neat solo boats, and let me show you something really cool about this baby. So this one has the new quick change seating system on it, which is the bow seat and the stern seat are detachable. So check this out right here, guys. This quickly, I can convert this boat into a beautiful solo canoe. So for someone larger like myself, this is actually a pretty nice canoe to go solo tripping with. Now this baby is the Expedition Kevlar, and it's got the beautiful Basalto Negra commingle finish on the outside. And unlike the Prospector 14, this one also has the beautiful cherry outers on it. Really cool look for someone really looking for a nice earth tone boat. This one has the black carbon end caps. It's got the cherry on the inside. It's got the carbon detachable yoke. So if you get this particular Combi boat, you can pop the seats out for a solo trip to make the boat lighter, and it gives you more room. If you really want to put some bigger packs, a dog, a small child, you can really load this baby up. You want to find out more about them? Check out the Swift Combi video. Hey folks, let's talk about what size paddlers really fit these two models nicely. So Jess is 5'1". She fits very comfortably into the Kiwadin 14, and again, this is a very popular model for people that are about average size or a little bit smaller. Scott is about 6'3", and he's a big guy, weightlifter. The Prospector 14 is wider, it's got more volume. It really suits his body size nicely. Now, the Kiwadin 14 is a more narrow boat, and with its really sleek asymmetrical shape, Joe, let's show them how round the chine area is right here. It's a David Yost design feature. The water really flows around the shape very nicely. It's got a very low wetted surface area, meaning the water doesn't feel the shape of the boat a lot. It really, when you take a stroke, glides beautifully. More rocker forward, so the bow's more maneuverable than the stern. And what Jess really likes about this boat is it's so narrow at the paddling station, it's very easy for her to reach over the sides while she's paddling. And just let's show the folks how easy it is for you to switch to a kneeling position. So sometimes it may get rough out while you're paddling. You just want a little bit more stability. With the angle to the front of the seat and the ease of putting your legs under, it's such a comfortable boat to transition your positions with. All we need is water now, Jess. We're going to have to flood the floor. So Scott now is in the Prospector 14. So this boat looks a lot fuller. It looks wider and so on the top. But when you get right down to it, folks, when you actually look at the waterline shape of it, it's got a really sleek, efficient waterline shape. Most of the volume you're seeing is above the waterline. It really pushes waves off to the side very nicely. It's got a really high carrying capacity on it for people that really love to load their boats up like crazy. Now it's a symmetrical boat. Both ends have the same shape, so you do need to do a little bit more correctional stroke if you're using a canoe paddle. A lot of people like to use a kayak paddle that use the Prospector 14, especially if you're on a trip where it gets windy and wavy and you want an efficient way to cross the water in the boat. Now we're going to ask Scott. You did the video of this boat. You're super comfortable whenever I see you in it. What is it about the Prospector 14 that you love?
Well, yeah, I've been fortunate to enjoy a lot of time in this boat, and it's obvious just from the size of me that it's the ideal fit. I would definitely be considered above average size. So with that in mind, it's hard to find a boat that even you feel comfortable in seat-wise. One of the things Bill's talked about is how wide these seats are, which is something I definitely benefit from. I don't have any contact with the gunnels. There's nothing digging into my lower torso or anything like that, which is ideal if you're going to be spending hours on the water. And then on top of that, the weight capacity. As you mentioned, most times, a lot of people don't necessarily consider their body weight plus their pack. That's obviously something I have to consider. So this boat leaves plenty of room for me, plus however much gear I'd like to carry. This alone is a 75-liter pack, which is not small, plus a full-size barrel in the back. I can carry both of those, plus me, and actually still have room to spare.
And now what about fishing?
Well, again, with everything fitted the way it is and with my size, the beauty of it is that everything is accessible. So, I mean, I've got my rod right here. If I decide to just toss it up in the front of the boat, I can, but I can also still reach it. There's no area on the boat that I can't access, and that's also helped by the stability and the shape of this boat. It's not tippy or uneasy, so if, for example, I were to drop my rod or a piece of gear way up in the bow, I could actually crawl my way up there and get that. I can do the same thing in the stern. And then as well with the outfitting, having like a universal package right here, again, given my height and size, the length of my arms, everything's close by. I'm not cramped, but I have access to everything that I could want.
Now, you've got a paddling buddy in Brody. So why don't you tell the folks about Brody in the boat?
Well, he's full of energy. He's a good 95 pounds or so. And that's obviously really the equivalent of another human being or a small human being. So having him in the boat with me in other models or different shaped hulls would probably not be realistic at all. It's just too much moving around in the boat. He sees something, the whole boat shifts. Next thing you know, we're both swimming. That being said, with a boat like this, as wide as it is and as flat as it is, I don't have to worry as much with him. He can move around, do his thing. I can compensate for him as he moves. And on top of that, we can still actually get where we're going pretty quickly.
Nice. The Prospector 14, folks, it's just so versatile, so much you can do with this boat. So we have another 14-foot canoe, the Wildfire, the legendary David Yost design coming out this year. It's a little bit more performance-oriented than these two and a little bit in between in terms of volume. So look for it at stores this spring. Our designer, David Yost, is an absolute genius. He has over 200 boats that he's put into production over the years in different companies. All of our boats now are David Yost designs. The Kiwadin 15 and 16 are very similar in shape. They're very efficient at the waterline. They're very rounded in the chine area, and a feature of his shapes is that they're very consistently rounded from one end to the other. He doesn't make the ends cheeky or change the shape of the boat, so the water flows around the shape of the boat very efficiently. When you take a stroke with one of these boats, they accelerate really nicely and they keep gliding into the next stroke. They're not race boats. These are boats that are designed for when you push about the average amount of energy a paddler would do on what we call all-day pace, a tripping pace or touring pace. They're extremely efficient in the water. Now the Kiwadins are nice and straight-keeled in the back end with more rocker forward in the front of them, and you can really see that the widest point is carried way up the side of the boat. And our gunnels all have a little bit of a lip on them. If any splash or spray comes up, it really gets deflected off to the side nicely. Now, I'm 6'4", 230 pounds. The Kiwadin 15 is such a nice fit for me. Now, I really like to use a carbon foot bar when I paddle that comes all the way across the boat. Standard, it doesn't have a foot bar. Or another option you can order is a kayak foot braces that we put on the side, and they come out 2-3 inches, and it allows you to put your feet right on the side, but you can't brace right in the middle of the boat. And sometimes when I paddle, the wider boats like the Kiwadin 15, the Prospector 14, the Kiwadin 16, I really like to be able to move my feet around. You transmit your energy with your stroke. When you paddle by pushing on your feet, when you lean on the paddle, it really helps provide more energy to move the boat through the water. People that may say, oh, my friends are always faster than me, I can't keep up with them, it may simply be that you don't have something solid to brace your feet on to really lean into your paddle on a rough day when you really want to keep up with them. Now, I love using a traditional shaped paddle in the Kiwadin 15. So this is one that we make, a Badger canoe paddle that Mike custom made for me. Absolutely love the shape of it. Really, when I paddle, I can do a C stroke where I can glide the blade back up in the water, do another stroke, hardly ever take the paddle out of the water. On a super windy, wavy day, I'll also use a kayak paddle. Generally speaking, paddlers 180, 280 will fit very comfortably in the Kiwadin 15. Now let me show you this baby. Again, the Kiwadin 16 is not one of our solo canoe offerings. This is in the Combi canoe section, but it's a really good option for the paddler that wants to take an enormous amount of gear with them, or someone who can only buy one boat and they want the tandem position, but they want to be able to change the boat over to solo. So this particular boat right here is a little bit wider than the 15, obviously. So I can put my feet comfortably on each side, and this one has the carbon foot bar, which really allows me to push on my feet much more as I'm taking each stroke through the water. I can use a traditional paddle, such as this nice Cherry Badger, if I want to. A lot of people that are paddling solo canoes now for tripping are doing something that a true solo canoeist would consider sacrilegious. Are there any of them around here? That is to take a kayak paddle in a solo canoe. So I like using, which makes it most efficient for me to go from one place to another across the lake. If I'm on a trip and it's a really windy, wavy day, there's absolutely no question that the use of a nice kayak paddle is going to make that journey easier, more efficient. It'll take less energy to cross the lake. So what I love are the Werner and Bending Branches adjustable paddles when you're in a big boat like this. This is a 240 to 260 adjustable lever lock that they actually only make for us in Carbon now. We're the exclusive retailer for them. It's so nice. You can adjust the angle of the paddle, the pitch of the blades, and the length of the paddle with one clip. And I like to adjust it where I can just reach over the sides when I'm paddling. So many solo canoe options. We've got one size for many different paddlers. the Combi Big Kiwadin 16 really suits people that have to have a versatile canoe or really want to load it up like crazy. Which solo canoe is the best one for you?